The US Treasury has announced that it will allow dark money to remain dark. In fact, they're allowing it to become even darker. And this impacts everyone, including those who are concerned about organizations like, let's say, Planned Parenthood. So if you're conservative, you should be just as concerned about what's going on with the Treasury's latest decision. Now, the US Treasury said on Monday that it will no longer require certain tax-exempt organizations, including politically active nonprofit groups such as the NRA and Planned Parenthood, to identify their financial donors to US tax authorities.
Oh, so for example, the NRA were to get $30 million from the Russian government, now they wouldn't have to identify it. What a wonderful coincidence that now they don't have to identify their donors anymore. My guess is it's too little too late, and we'll find out exactly if what the NRA got. And look, I don't know for a fact yet, and that's why they do the investigation. It does appear to be some evidence based on some of the filings already that, the NRA might have taken money from the Russians and funneled it to Donald Trump. But we'll find out, But Mnuchin and the Trump administration is trying desperately to make sure that we don't find out the next time.
Right, I know, and this is, I mean, even if you just put Russia aside, just think about what this does to our democracy, what it does to transparency. I mean, it's just, we already have a problem with, corruption and why things turn out the way they do in the country. Well, what kind of forces are playing a role behind the scenes and how those decisions get made. This will make that situation even worse. So the move also frees labor unions, issue advocacy organizations, veterans groups, and other nonprofits that do not receive tax-exempt money from meeting confidential disclosure requirements set in place decades ago. And the change also protects the privacy of wealthy donors of dark money donations to politically active groups. So conservatives have complained that the disclosures to the IRS, though not public, were susceptible to media leaks.
All right, so let's break this down. First, again, I don't know why conservatives, if you're an actual voter and not part of the swamp, why you would be in favor of this. This means that Soros could funnel all the money he wants into any of those organizations and defeat any particular Republican that he doesn't like for his agenda, and you'd never even know it. You can't ever find out. It means the unions can funnel any money they like. I don't know who else. Are you sure that foreign actors can't funnel money in? The Saudis can't funnel money in? And look, there are a lot of nefarious forces in the world. They could funnel money in, but okay. Let's just stick with the US. Let's just say, okay, Soros is American, Koch brothers are American, and they could now, they already can put unlimited money in, but now we can't even find out who's putting the money in. So not only do we have an auction instead of a democracy, but now it's a secret auction. So you don't even know who bought off your politician. They legalized bribery, now they've said, okay, but we're gonna keep secret who's doing the bribe. Okay, so if you still don't get why that's disastrous, let's keep going a little bit more. And by the way, for God's sake, get the money out. Conservatives, you hate corruption, you hate crony capitalism. This is exactly what this is. Now, the final irony. People like the Koch brothers say, well, the reason we don't want our names being found out is because then people will criticize us, and that might inhibit us from spending more money to bribe your politicians.
Yeah, that's great. That's what we'd like.
Okay, but just think that logic through for a second. They say our money is speech. So I can spend as much money as I want because I'm just talking. But you are not allowed to talk back to me. Your speech is not speech. My money is speech, but your speech isn't. I don't want you talking to me. I don't want you finding out who I am. I want to be able to buy off any politician I like, Republican or Democrat, and you never find out. You're gonna speak back to me? How dare you? I'm prohibiting your speech. And Mnuchin and Trump just did that. This is not a democracy, guys. It's not a hyperbole.
No, it's accurate. It's incredibly accurate.
And look, at the state level, I've said it a million times, that's why Wolfpack works at the state level. There are still representatives who represent you. There's people who are the local cash register person who's a state rep, et cetera, right? And the districts are smaller and there's more accountability. At the national level, democracy is gone. It's an illusion. Now, irony is the only office that actually still has some democracy involved is the president, because presidential races get so much free media that the Koch brothers, Soros, or anyone else can't buy it off because there's too much free media. But almost all of Congress at the national level, not all of it, but almost all of it, gone. They're all bribed, they all work for their donors, and they don't work for us, and it's not a real democracy. Last thing, in case you didn't know, and this happened even before Citizens United, Princeton and Northwestern did a study. They studied 2 decades of American policy, 1,800 policy positions. Public opinion, your opinion, has 0 effect on public policy. The top 10%, the richest people in the country, their opinion has a direct effect on public policy. We don't live in a democracy, so we can get it back, but you have to amend the Constitution and make it very, very clear. Your money is not speech. Privately financing elections is mental. They will obviously work for the people who financed their elections. They're the ones who got them elected. Now we can't even find out who they are. And they're gonna work for secret donors, and we're gonna call that a democracy? You have to join Wolfpack or any other group that's fighting for it that you think makes sense. But to me, if you don't get the amendment, you're done for. And Wolfpack can get it at the state level. They never have to go to Washington. If you go ask Washington, you think these guys are gonna change the law to take themselves out of power? No, wolf-pack.com. Get involved, volunteer, donate, do whatever you can, because it's time for a literal revolution. And by that I mean a political revolution, where we actually amend the Constitution to get our democracy back. The founding fathers were revolutionaries. That's why they put into the Constitution, you should amend this thing so you could do political revolutions for each generation. It's that time now. If you don't do it, we're done. They're gonna have dark money by every single election, and you're not even gonna know who your politicians work for. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.